today we begin a special three-part series chronicling our summer Catholic Communications pilgrimage to Ireland. It was there that 34 pilgrims traveled along Ireland's west coast and saw the majestic beauty that Ireland's nature and history have to offer. From castles to cliffs, we discover more now about this Emerald Isle in this piece produced by videographer Bill PACOCHA.
Hello, I'm Father Gary Dailey.
And I'm Father Matt ALCOMBRIGHT, and we'd like to welcome you to our 2015 pilgrimage to Ireland.
We're here in Galway at the Radisson Blu Hotel, and when we first arrived, we had a great Irish breakfast. So after breakfast, we got back into the bus and off to Bunratty Castle. One of the things about Bunratty Castle is just a little taste of what old Ireland was like, the thatched roof cottages and the turf fires inside and some of the little stores that we get there. Did you enjoy the castle?
Yeah, it's really neat to see how people lived, how these areas were operated under these ruling systems with the people living, and seeing how the people were served and how they lived and how their families were. And it was just very interesting to see the history of Ireland come alive in that castle with all the artifacts, all the tapestries, all the different things that are there.
We got to the top of the roof to see a beautiful view of County Clare around us, and I thought it was just a great day. And then off we were to the beautiful part of Ireland in County Kerry, which is Killarney, known for its beautiful lakes, its parks. We woke up after a good night's sleep and ready to jump into the jaunting car, which is a horse and buggy ride through the beautiful Killarney National Park. And if I remember correctly, our horse's name was?
Our horse's name was Bobby.
Bobby, right. I wanted the whiskey horse so bad, but we ended up with Bobby. And the ride through Killarney was just amazing. And as the many times I've been to Ireland, it was the first time I experienced the horse and buggy ride through the national park. Horsing around in Killarney.
I just remember the morning was so beautiful. I think it was forecasted rain, but worked out for us. And it was an absolutely beautiful morning to just be outside, enjoy the fresh air, and enjoy the beautiful scenery of that area.
And then at the end of the ride was this castle that was there, and we were able to explore that for a little bit. And then back on the bus with our great bus driver, Frank, who brought us around the Dingle Peninsula. I think it's worth talking about Dingle in the sense that the Dingle has a very significant piece to the Diocese of Springfield, because there's a lot of people in the Springfield area who left the Dingle area of Ireland and came to settle in our diocese. And Hungry Hill in Springfield and Our Lady of Hope Parish became their home. But the Blasket Center has a great connection, more especially to the Diocese of Springfield. Michael Carney, who was the last survivor of the Blasket Islands, has just recently passed away. Michael was certainly a legend in Ireland as well as here in Western Massachusetts, and it's certainly unfortunate we didn't have the opportunity to speak with him about our wonderful trip. Michael Carney left the Blasket Islands and went to Dublin, and then Dublin to America, and settled with all the other people who left the Dingle area and went to Springfield, Massachusetts. The people on the pilgrimage really enjoyed seeing the room that had Springfield, Massachusetts on it, with all the artifacts there and the picture of Michael Carney and the map that shows Western Massachusetts and Northern Connecticut.
I thought it was very inspiring, very informative, especially my former parish being Mary Mother of Hope in East Springfield, having many people from Our Lady of Hope at that parish now, having heard the stories of their lives in Dingle, in that area, and hearing the stories of Michael Carney, putting that into perspective and putting it to life, so to speak, was one of my favorite parts.
Day 3 in Ireland. Who would have ever thought day 3 would probably be one of the most memorable days of our trip? Now, when we woke up in the morning, we knew that we were going off to the Aran Islands, and we knew that we were going to have an hour-and-a-half boat ride. But little did we know that the weather was going to be the way it was, and we were dealing with some very severe weather on the Atlantic Ocean. Father Matt, maybe you want to tell us how you enjoyed the boat ride to the Aran Islands.
Well, it's funny. I think I enjoyed it just as much as everybody else did on that boat.
Really? And how was that?
That was with a bag close to my face. It was a rough ride. It was a rough haul, but we made it through. True pilgrims make it through. It was certainly not the best experience, the best boat ride of my life, but we made it to the island of Moher, and we got there, we stepped off, we got our bearings, and we enjoyed that beautiful island and the history of it.
When we got to the island and we went to St. Bridget's Church for Mass, and I know that I was able to preach that Mass that you celebrated there. Hallelujah. We come with a generous spirit here, and we thank God for this safe journey, and we thank God for all the little gifts that God gives to us along the way. If nothing else, the experience, even though some got sick, the appreciation of what people did in order to find freedom, in order to find a better life, in order to find something more than what they had. I was thinking about my ancestors, my grandparents, and many people's parents and grandparents that came over from Ireland, the potato famine, or Poland, or Italy, and for 3 months they were on a ship. It helped me to appreciate what they went through, and that was really a tough trip. Initially it was cold and rainy, but it lasted for about 5 minutes, and then beautiful sunshine, and to just get our little van ride around the island and learning about how those people survived. And 800 residents on that island, imagine, and the entire island's Catholic. There was a Protestant church here, and it's no longer here anymore, and all 800 inhabitants are Catholic. The priest has this island and 3 churches, and the other 2 islands as well he serves. And he wasn't here today because he was celebrating Sunday Mass at the other island, and he goes overnight there. After we had some lunch and people's stomachs settled and getting their sea legs, we're back to the dock.
Back to the dock for a smooth ride.
Right.
Until about the end. It was a little choppy, but it wasn't as bad. Everybody got home safely.
What a beautiful day we experienced at the Cliffs of Moher. Sunshine, hardly a breeze, and just being able to enjoy the scenery off that cliff onto the Atlantic Ocean.
As one of our pilgrims said once we got to the top, he said, "How can you look at this and not believe in a God?" To look out at the beauty of creation and the beauty, certainly, of those cliffs. Just a spectacular view in all directions. No matter where you looked, it was a beautiful view. Even if you were looking from the cliffs back into the valley where we were, just breathtaking.
So the Cliffs of Moher was a somewhat brief visit. We were probably there for an hour and a half and then off to another castle.
When you look back, everybody says, oh, another castle, but these castles were so unique.
The name of this castle is actually Dingle Castle. It's a 16th century tower house home that's about 500 years old, built and lived in by the O'Hynes clan.
They may all look similar or the same, but when you go inside them and see the different families, their different tapestries, their furniture, some of the stained glass, you see the uniqueness of each one.
And to think that this castle was inhabited only to just very recently, in the sense of that private person just buying the castle and making it her home. And then off we were to Galway. One of the beautiful things about Galway is that it's a town that's very much alive. There's a great history here.
The Pope at the time gave Galway the right to elect a warden, elected by the families here, in essence a mini bishop. So you had the priest in Galway, a warden, and ultimately his route was to the Pope. So they cut out anything in between. The 1500s warfare starts to change a little bit, and as you get into the 1600s then it's a change. You've got massive siege cannons come into play, and even though these walls could be 8 foot thick in places, still not thick enough for siege cannons.
The walled city that you don't see in many places in Ireland today, but Galway's a really special place, and some great restaurants, some great pubs, some great music.
Then going after our meal to see the street shows going on, the jugglers and the musicians out on the street all performing. The city just truly becomes alive.
And so beautiful Galway is here, and we're just hoping to enjoy it for the last few hours that we possibly can before we make our trek towards the north. Well, thank you for sharing with us in this episode, and we look forward to sharing with you more in the next episode of our travels up north.
We'll see you soon.
I feel like I'm watching a video postcard when I see all these breathtaking locations, and we can look forward to much more from Ireland the next 2 weeks as our pilgrims travel to a Connemara Marble Factory, Kylemore Abbey, and Our Lady of Knock Shrine, and then they head north.